Welcome to the Political Pour Up Podcast.
Grab a drink, pull up a chair. Grab a drink. This is the Political Pour Up. Because we don't need a drink for this.
Hello, and welcome to the Political Pour Up Podcast. I'm Sue.
I'm Jazz.
And I'm Jenn.
And we're back together. The last time that we recorded, Jenn wasn't feeling well.
I was not.
Teardrops.
So our trio was a duo, and we missed you so.
Y'all held it down.
We did our best.
Y'all did great.
We hope we made you proud.
You did. You did. Y'all got the video content going on.
Appreciate it. I know, right?
Oh, we're trying a lot of new things.
Listen, the tech team is kicking ass.
Yes. Come through, social media guru over here. Even though you're a millennial, you're still learning the...
I feel like I'm letting millennials... Yeah, I'm on the geriatric side of millennials. I feel like I'm letting them...
We were all born
We are not geriatric millennials.
I think the 40 and up are geriatric.
Yeah, that would be our husbands.
Apparently,
Right.
if I got pregnant tomorrow, I would be a geriatric millennial.
Okay, that was the case for me when I was 31. I think we talked about this before.
We did talk about this last season.
It's disrespectful.
Or last year.
But yes, we're three friends who like to drink and talk about politics.
Yeah, because it's some bullshit.
Just, because those two go hand in hand nowadays.
Correct.
And they're doing fireworks outside. It is July. It is days after the 4th.
Oh,
And
God.
they are doing fireworks.
You know it
still
don't
in
end
Washington,
until
D.C.
September.
It's
You better
rude.
get right.
It's rude.
When you opened the door, I was like, are people still setting off fireworks? You're like, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Girl, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. The other day, somebody did it by my house.
And it was so close.
On a weekday.
It sounded like it was like in front of me, on the side of me. I'm like, do I get out?
You never know.
Do I not?
They be doing them.
I mean, I would appreciate if, the United States, at least D.C. at the very least,
For
considering
Howard
all
County.
of the things that are going on in the world, it would just be nice to not have to worry about an additional explosion type thing right outside.
Because like right now, it's just like, it's like
I'm used to is that a gunshot or a firework? I
but
got
now
that
it
down
can be.
pat.
But now
it can
it's
be
like,
anything.
but are we
Is
under
that
attack?
a drone strike? Is
Right.
that Russia?
Correct. I'm
Is
like,
that Iran?
sat in the car for a good few minutes. Like, do I get out? Do I not? Like, what? The
I
fuck
mean, well,
is
the
this?
irony is that on the 4th of July for this year, unlike any other year, I guess because they were signing that disastrous bill that decided to have jets flying over D.C., which is also a waste of money. But I was in the house, not feeling well, so I was asked, like, you didn't see him? I was like, no.
My cousin was in LA and she was talking about how something similar happened, and people were like, "Is that a bomb? Like, what is that?" And then everyone's like, "LA, another very liberal city." That they're like, "Well, we are at war. It could be anything at this point."
Yeah.
Last year, we were not at war, and I was in Miami for Memorial Day, and I happened to be on the beach, and I didn't know that apparently they be doing military plane flyovers. I'm on the beach. I'm like, what the hell is happening?
Yeah.
What the hell is happening?
When you're not
like, what is about
aware of
the hell? Why is that so loud? Why do I feel the vibrations in my beach chair through the sand?
You'll be like,
What
this
is this
it.
happening?
This is how it ends. But yeah,
I was
we're
like,
here.
oh shit, something
We
didn't
did take-
escalate. I ain't paid attention to the news because I was on the beach. That's exactly what I thought last year. I was like, oh shit.
We did take a good little week off to recoup and I guess
And do some, and also
celebrating
we did some
14
celebrating.
days after Juneteenth, and not the 4th.
It's not just for Juneteenth, but because we won an award.
Oh yeah, well, damn, we haven't been on in that's been a minute.
Dang.
It just seems like a long time.
Well, what
because every
award
day
did we
seems
win,
like 100
Jazz?
years. Well, if we're going to talk about it,
Well, you brought it up, so
I did. So we actually won the game. Yeah, I mean, we're going to. We won the Game Powerful Idea Award for
best podcast.
Yeah, best podcast or piece of content
Yes.
or creative content. So that is the category in which we were nominated, and we won.
And the Game Power platform is a progressive org that promotes progressive leaders and awards them. There were some very nice honorees there, in addition to
ourselves.
Us. Joteka Edie, who the founder of Win with Black Women. Yes. My former congressman, Congressman Steny Hoyer, former majority leader.
Yes, he was there
from
as well.
Maryland's 5th District, my hometown of Clinton, Maryland.
He had to put the
received a lifetime, I think it was a Lifetime Leadership Award. It was a really star-studded DC-like event, like star-studded for DC.
And the political sphere.
Right. Those were celebrities to us.
Those are celebrities.
But yeah, it was an awesome event.
It was wonderful.
And
it was a wonderful evening.
Yeah, if anyone is looking for just an outlet to explore progressive job opportunities and platforms and spaces and orgs that really lean into those progressive values, Gain Power is an awesome resource to tap into. So yeah, that was exciting.
Speaking of political celebrities, I saw our governor.
Ooh.
On the 4th. I was actually supporting a close friend and line sister of mine. She's running for county council for my district. And so in Howard County, we have villages because it was a concept.
Oh, y'all, real country.
Yeah.
No villages.
It's a
either country bougie.
It's a
bougie country.
Excuse me.
I'm going to sit this one out.
A planned community. Where people of different socioeconomic backgrounds could live together. And so he planned a town around the concept of villages. It takes a village to raise a child. So you have the village of Wild Lake, the village of Harvest Choice, so we have villages. So each village has, your basic necessities like a school.
So there's like a county like PG has a county council.
We have districts. And then there are villages within the district.
Okay.
So, we walked, so it's a little different now, but several different villages have like a parade, 4th of July. It's going on for forever. So we were walking in the Longfellow Parade, and our good governor.
Look at him coming out on the 4th of July. I love that. He is just.
And he was so personable, and I was like fumbling to get my phone out, like, wait.
You got a good little pic of him.
It's nice to meet you. He was like, nice to meet you too.
No, when I met him at a bill signing recently, and I was like, I'm not walking away from this opportunity without saying something to this great governor that happens to be a very nice looking Black man. And so yeah, shook his hand. He gave me a pen. He said, "Thank you for your work." I'm like, "No, thank you." So
speaking of his work, real quick,
can we speak about the progress in Maryland? I think that's where you about to go with it. So.
I was going because, Baltimore has been in the news and in the press.
Brandon Scott better go ahead
because
he better go
Scott
has been doing his
damn
I love
thing.
I love him.
First of all,
because he decided to combat the violence in the city as a public health issue finally, and he met that with resources.
Yes.
And he proved that when you provide
public health and public safety.
Correct. And when you provide resources to a community, look what happens. This is the
lowest murder rate ever in Baltimore.
Ever in Baltimore. And I just got to big him up. And a lot of that was possible because the governor.
Thank you.
Allocated the funds he needed for those programs. And so I just got to say,
I'm here for it.
I love that. And there's one thing that I do want to add to that too, because I think a couple of months ago, there was a lot of chatter about how he vetoed or he declined to allow them to go through with a reparations study. This is not like a reparations bill. This was another reparations study.
We don't need any more studies.
And that is exactly what he said. We don't need any more. We have a study. It says it needs to happen. It says
we need reparations.
But this is how we're going to go about it in the meantime, because, this is not the environment where that would even be feasible.
Correct.
And he said, no, it's time to stop allocating our money to talking about the issues to actually doing it. And Brandon Scott is doing it.
Yep, I love it. So
I'm here for Brandon Scott.
I love it. I love it. And then there's another Black mayor. Oh, God. You might have to.
Oh, Birmingham.
Yes.
Yeah, Woodfin.
Yes, who similarly is
Right.
making strides in
He's a
in
Morehouse
city.
man.
I did not know that.
I'm pretty sure he is mayor
I
of
could get you
Birmingham.
here.
But Birmingham also has the lowest murder rate
in years.
I think. Hold on, it's on my Instagram.
Well,
Go ahead.
Here
So I
at
got
the
you.
political pour up, just want to say, you go, black man. You go.
We support you.
We support you.
His name is Randall Woodfin.
Yeah, okay. I was about to say Raphael. I was like, no, that's Facts Bay.
You know,
all right, don't sue us, Cameron and Mace, because
Listen,
I know.
I have been a fervent Dipset supporter.
Yeah,
correct.
Since
we're not making no money off of this,
since
so you
Dipset
would really
came out, and even before this,
this is all a nonprofit venture here.
Right.
Even
but
before yeah, okay, Facts Bay.
I was a Cameron fan.
We
since
know,
his
sis. We know.
Okay.
Woodfin went to Morehouse and Stanford for his JD.
You better go ahead. You better go ahead, Morehouse Stanford man.
So yeah, black mayors are always listen to the mayors. They are the bellwether for the change that needs to be happening in our communities. Speaking of mayors,
come on.
I think since we last recorded, the results for the New York mayoral election have.
Or the Democratic, the primary.
Yeah, the primary. Oh, yeah, the primary.
Oh, they gotta clarify.
Right. Sorry. The Democratic primary and the progressive. Is he even? Yeah, he is a millennial. Progressive millennial. He's 33. Zoran Mamdani.
You gotta learn how to say that name. Mamdani
prevailed as the top candidate above the Cuomo. I was like, what do I describe him as now? Former governor Cuomo against what looked to be insurmountable odds in terms of political funding to Cuomo. Millions of dollars rushed into his PAC as the polls were showing that Mamdani was having a surge of support. People are just ready for
a fresh breath of air.
A fresh breath of air.
But more importantly, I feel like he centered working class people.
Exactly.
He really did.
Free buses, you know what I mean? Rent stabilization, which everyone
services
needs.
that, right, exactly. Things that the government or the city should be working towards to make everyone's life better.
Exactly.
And when that happens, it benefits not just the everyday people who use those services, it benefits the millionaires and billionaires too.
Of course it will.
So, you know,
because if people could loosen their purse straps a little bit, everybody's
happy.
So what are we drinking on today?
Well, you know, times are hard. So yeah, a lot of shit's been happening. I had to make a little cocktail with what I already had in the house. But this is called When Life Gives You Lemons.
I love that.
And it is a lemon-based cocktail. So we've got some gin. The gin I use, I go to Costco and get my Kirkland's signature gin, and I put it in my nice little fancy decanter.
She's real cute.
Because I'm fancy.
I
love it.
Do they have one in red?
Oh, they might. I got it at TJ Maxx.
I'll tell you what, though.
Because I'm a Maxinista. But also, before you get... Because don't sleep on Costco alcohol. The gin,
it's high quality,
standard. Like all the tequilas,
not even standard.
Better than Casamigos. Oh yeah,
not even standard.
Better than Tanqueray.
You have really good
the
because they
bourbon.
Have the same. They use the same distributors as like a lot of actual good high end.
Kirkland's signature is
it's good.
Kirkland's be hitting.
What is in the drink?
Yes,
gin. Your choice of gin. You don't have to go to Costco, but I would suggest it.
Yes, because they support DEI.
Some limoncello.
Let's do it.
Yes. So a little limoncello, some lemon juice, and I made a little honey ginger syrup. Which is literally just like
honey
and
whipping it up in the kitchen.
A ginger root and boil it together. So
that is just so cute.
French 75 style. Shake it up and then strain it and then pour a little bit of either seltzer or some sparkling wine.
I guess your choice of bubbles is what we should say.
Yes,
your choice of bubbles. I like that.
Of just bubbles.
You know, bubbles if you're trying to keep it a little lighter, you can go with like a club soda or a seltzer.
Right.
If you're trying to spice it up a bit, you might want to add a little Prosecco.
French 75. So yeah.
So y'all, what's going on this week?
What isn't going on? So last week, Congress passed their reconciliation bill, their tax and spending bill.
On the 4th.
Yeah,
for
that
freedom.
happened. It was called formerly known as the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, HR 1. We call it the Big Bunch Bullshit. There's a lot of names that go along with the
BBO
question.
Busted BBO, like that.
Can I ask?
Busted BBO,
right?
Because I don't know. Maybe I misheard this, but I remember hearing something about the fact that Chuck Schumer was on the floor and he got something passed that it was no longer called the Big Beautiful Bill and it was called the Act. And I was like, sir.
Yeah. You couldn't think of a better name.
No, I don't know who told you to do this. Like, nobody told you to waste this time. Nobody cares.
I appreciate that he got rid of the stupid name because that's the bill that they passed.
It is. But the name is less important than the substance.
I mean, yes, you're right.
It's all I'm like. I mean, if you
but it was a stupid name.
It is.
I'm
but
sorry.
if you it was
big as shit. It was almost 1,000 pages.
I mean, it's beautiful if you're a billionaire looking for tax breaks. It's beautiful as hell.
I mean, I guess, but it's
you're
all
in the tech industry and don't want no.
Well, Elon doesn't like it, and he's the richest man in the country right now. So it's obviously something not beautiful about it.
EV mandates got taken out.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay.
So
the bill passed the Senate 51-50. The vice president broke the tie. It was 50-50 after all the senators voted. There were two Republicans that voted no. Senator Susan Collins from Maine and Senator Tom Tillis from North Carolina, who is conveniently
slowly but surely finding
decided
that
he conveniently decided that he's going to retire and he's not going to run for re-election. So
that's the only reason why he's voting against stuff.
But Urkowski voted, but she's teetering the line, and
we really thought she was going to be a no. And then she worked so hard to get these carve outs just for her state. If you have to carve out exceptions for your state, the bill just might not need to be passed.
Might be trash for everyone.
Well, if you basically sold out the rest of America.
Well, I trust that the House is going to do the right thing. Bitch, you ain't.
You didn't.
Well, my thing is that if there's a right thing to do and you know it, why didn't you do it?
Why didn't you?
Why are you hoping to pass?
I have a responsibility for Alaska. Did y'all catch when she was in the hallway and the reporter?
And she stared him down.
Yes, he was like, "I didn't say it. I'm just repeating." That basically you sold out the rest of America to get cutouts for Alaska.
Yes,
and you knew that this bill was going to hurt millions of Americans, strip them of their health care.
They couldn't even get all the stuff they were trying to carve out specifically for Alaska, just for Alaska, which is how they ended up with the thing. With the Medicaid.
Just for Alaska. I think Maryland actually got lumped in there too.
DC got lumped in.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple other places for like the highest thing of errors for Medicaid and a couple other things.
Yeah.
That's what But they ran into so many issues with the parliamentarian with just trying to like make specific carve-outs that were like literally on their face, illegitimate or illegal.
Yeah. So after the Senate passed the bill, the House had to pass their version of the bill, which, members of the House were expecting the Senate being the more, traditionally it's the more moderate, like I say that in like the biggest air quotes I can make, the more moderate to some of the extremes that exist in the House. But turns out the Senate bill ended up coming back with bigger cuts to Medicaid and SNAP and a bigger tax break to the top 1% than the House bill. And then by the time it got back to the House, they're like, what? This adds $3 trillion to the deficit. We were trying to get the deficit down. Mm-hmm. They say they care about it. And,
they don't.
Some of them have to go back and explain that to their constituents. So good luck. It went back to the House to be debated and voted on again after there were several nays starting out in the process. One guy voted no on one of the preliminary votes to bring the vote to the floor and then ran off the floor. Nobody could find him. Phone going to voicemail.
Well, right, but that's because the bully in the White House was calling people in the middle of the night, pressuring them.
There were about like 8 or 9 holdouts that were saying that were no's for various reasons, but at the end of the day, they all but 2, I think there were 2 Republican House members that ended up voting no. So the final vote was
218 to 214.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know where that 6
Who were those 2 holdouts? I'm so curious.
Okay. It was Thomas Massey and Brian Fitzpatrick.
Oh, okay.
Thomas Massey of Kentucky, Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania.
That's the one that ran off the. That's the one.
Yeah, that's the one I think ran off the floor. Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
Good for him.
He ran and
he said, "Nope, I'm out.
Find somebody else. Get somebody else to do it."
Before the House voted on the bill, the Democratic leader Hakeem Jeffries spoke for, I think, close to like 7 hours.
He's been breaking all the records, hasn't he? That wasn't.
No, that was Cory. The filibuster record. Cory Booker broke that.
You're right. That was Cory Booker.
But yeah, he spoke, and it was inspirational.
I caught a little bit, and I got emotional.
It was. It
was very inspirational. I could have done without the Instagram post.
What Instagram post?
The one with him standing in the office with the bat.
He had a bat?
Okay, it's not about your social media. I could care less, but we need to be focused on more things.
Yes.
I don't need you standing around with a bat in your office talking about what bat you about to take to the bill. I just need you out there and do what the hell you about to do. I don't need you.
This is just a sign that Democrats are so desperate to get the messaging right and to catch up with
and they are failing every single.
Just do your job,
The unfortunate part is that the messaging was actually not bad.
So y'all remember when Trump dropped the F-bomb on the White House South Lawn? Y'all saw that when he was talking about.
He's done so much. I was like, which
time? I'm trying to.
Right.
So I'm waiting for more context.
When he was talking about.
But have WWE on there.
And Israel.
Yeah.
Or UFC.
And he was like, we have 2 countries that have been fighting so long.
Oh, yeah.
And so hard that they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Well, I thought he said he could fix it on day 1.
So, but then one of our favorite content creators, I don't know what member of Congress it was, but then he's dropping an F-bomb. I don't think that just because Trump drops an F-bomb, like we need to answer it with F-bombs. Like, let's not. Like, I'm still here for a little decorum. Like, maybe I'm by myself.
Now, I could care less. Where I think shit went left is that, like, let's think back to it. Obama might not be everybody's favorite, but at that time, there was a certain movement and people believing in, like, the Democratic movement and what was happening. And there were a lot of things at that time that I feel like people were more hopeful for and were more inspired by the base. I think the problem is that the racist answer for him was ignorant loudmouth people just shouting shit.
Absolutely.
And then they were like, oh, all these wild ass things that people are shouting out, facts or not, are getting attention. So then it was like, they seemed like they were behind the ball of all the attention that other people were getting. And now it's like, well, we're just going to try to mimic certain things that they're mimicking or that they're doing.
That's what I don't like.
But the thing is that they're falling flat because
it's not authentic.
Well,
it's like if you
my
curse,
point. I think that's my point. If you've already been a cursor,
who gives a fuck?
So that's my thing. It felt that's my bigger issue. Is it felt so inauthentic? It felt so forced. Like when we see my good sis Jasmine go off. That is authentic.
Right.
That is who she is. That's who she's been.
And that's why it's so effective coming from her.
It lands for her. It lands for AOC.
That's right.
It lands for Bernie because it resonates with the person that they are and that it shows up for. It doesn't really have anything to do with like an age. It really has to do with like...
Absolutely.
I mean, you could still be a Democrat and be full of shit. Like all politicians, like that's why people don't like politicians now. They think they're inauthentic and dishonest.
That's exactly it.
That's why a lot of people have been drawn to Trump, because
or disengaged.
He is so, or disengaged, but
he's so unfiltered for the most part.
They love it because it feels real to them.
It feels real to them. And to a certain
don't matter
extent,
if he's lying.
Some of it might be real. Like, the thing is, I'm not convinced at this point he can even process what is fact and what is fiction.
Well, one, people who are compulsive liars lie so much that they actually start to believe some of the stuff that they tell people.
Exactly.
That's just one. And that means like no age basis on it. But also,
he started talking shit about his own bill because he was like, no, I didn't know it cut Medicaid. We need to look into that.
He doesn't know anything. And the other day they asked him about something. He was like, well, I didn't know anything about that. And they were
this motherfucker always want to look at something.
Well, they said, don't you think it's an issue that you don't know that it wasn't shared with you? And he was like, no, because anything that happens, I know about. And I was like, those things can't coexist. They can't. It can't be, what do you think about this? I didn't know about it. And if it happened, I didn't have anything to do with it. Well, do you feel some type of way about things happening that you are not aware of, that you have no involvement? No, because there's nothing, everything that happens I know about. Like, it just...
Make it make sense.
It can't.
So, yeah, there's a lot in the bill that is going to disadvantage a lot of people. And the fucked up part about it is that some of the more extensive things that are going to happen, especially with Medicaid and SNAP, are not going to start rolling out until after the 2026 midterms. Mm-hmm. So the Medicaid requirement restrictions that are going to go into place are not set to start until December 2026. Midterm elections are November 3rd, 2026. So
a month after everybody submits their votes.
After everybody submits their votes.
But I do think I do think we're gonna see these hospitals and things preparing for those cuts.
Oh yeah,
well, some have already started.
They've already
started.
They're
readying their budgets already. Yeah.
No, so I do think we will feel those effects even before they
and we just have to make sure that you
have to connect the dots.
You have to connect the dots and make sure that the lawmakers that supported this are being held accountable. Absolutely. Because they're just banking on the next news cycle or the next year, everybody having amnesia about the fact. But in terms of like tax returns, I think some of them, like the things like no tax on tips, they're not going to have the effect that people think that they're going to have. The no tax on tips is capped at $25,000. And it's not even for your earnings. And it's not even on the tax that is already reported via credit card tips. Like if you work in the service industry, most of the time, a lot of people, if people pay for a credit card via credit card, they tip you via credit card. And those tips already come out of your check. Mm-hmm. This no tax on tips is for the cash tips. People do not report cash tips.
Right.
Yeah.
And especially if you get a very limited amount of your tips from cash.
You might not get more than $20, if that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the other thing about that people also don't consider about people who are working in tipped wage jobs is that the hourly rate that you earn, whether it be $2 or $3 and some change or maybe $5, that is usually subtracted from your credit card tips if you get any, as well as hours worked. Mm-hmm. So there were plenty of times where even working for $2 and some change that I got a check that's at $0 and 0 cents because you don't get that $2 and whatever per hour. That's what you get paid in lieu of tips. Wow. So once you start getting tips, they subtract that from your hourly rate.
That's some bullshit.
I got a lot of
that's what I'm saying. I got a lot of zeroed out checks.
That's some bullshit.
So if you happen to work for an employer, which I did at the time where they weren't necessarily calculating tips correctly for all employees, there were times where I showed up to work and didn't really get any tips.
What?
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. And then still ended up getting a check that was like
0.
Yep, same.
So that's what I'm saying. I think a lot of times
they pay
people
you in
assume,
food. He was like, "Oh, you want a shift meal?" It's like, "Oh."
And the shift meal looks like prison meals half the time. You'd be like, "What is this?"
Sometimes they let you order from the menu.
Yeah, but even then,
Yeah.
You're not about to fill my groceries up. Also,
exactly.
I have this job so I can pay for my bills.
Right.
It includes groceries, but aren't only
that's why
limited to.
That's why
so it's much different.
The tipped wage that exists in most places, people are saying it's so inequitable. Now, there are members of the service industry that make an exorbitant amount of money for it to not matter how much they're paid hourly because they make so much in tips. But if you're working at
a slow day
or at a place that, people just don't leave a lot of tips.
Right. I had no idea what y'all was dealing with
yes,
in
ma'am.
the service industry when we was down there.
And I was getting hit on in a weird way. So
Good
trust
Lord.
me.
Okay.
See, that's why I work shoes. Okay. Y'all can find me at that DSW off 400.
Oh, you didn't? You were worried about the foot fetish
retail
folks, huh?
too.
I was turning my
So you were worried about the foot fetish folks, huh?
Yeah, that would definitely turn me off. So the big bunch of bullshit bill will go into effect mostly immediately. The tax provisions that were passed in the bill will go into effect for next year's taxes when you file in 2026. Several of the restrictions on SNAP, on Medicaid, as you said, the clean energy credits that are being rolled back, which is why Elon's so pissed.
I was just about to say.
That's why he is
Those won't be going into effect until later in 2026. So remember this. Never forget.
Don't forget it like y'all forgot the insurrection. Keep up with it, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, let me keep.
What happened in Texas, y'all?
A bunch of bullshit. Well, as most people have heard, I believe on July 4th, on the early morning of July 4th, there was a massive flood that happened, just of rapid rising waters due to rainfall in Texas, which at this point, the most recent up-to-date numbers I saw were at least 160 people were missing, and 121 have died thus far, including quite a few numbers of those campers at, I believe it was called Camp Mystic. Which is devastatingly sad. Furthermore, it's a bit perplexing to me because that is a high flood zone,
and they allowed them to expand the camp.
They shouldn't have been in that area
but they allowed them to expand the camp recently.
So
without the proper emergency notice system.
Yeah, and I think they just put something in place like 2 days prior to the flood that the state required. Like you had to have an emergency response plan, and they put it in place 2 days prior.
They had it they had the funding for it previously, while ago.
I think it was granted through Biden's
infrastructure bill.
But once it got to Texas, I don't believe that Texas released the funds.
And now
doesn't Texas work on a surplus?
No.
And they're trying to blame that shit on DEI.
Is lying to you.
And
how? Because they tried to blame it on Biden.
All they have to say,
because they went from trying to blame it on Biden to DEI.
Charlie Kirk said
it's the same.
All of the people in Texas, the hundreds of people that died, he said this shit because of DEI in Texas.
Charlie Kirk is an idiot.
And it's like, okay, I'm waiting for the connection. I'm waiting for you to make it.
Charlie Kirk is an idiot because he couldn't even make it through community college that he dropped out of?
He dropped out of community college.
So Charlie Kirk is an idiot.
But he want to call Ketanji Brown Jackson unqualified to be a
I don't listen to mediocre
You're not qualified to wipe her ass.
So that's
facts.
Yeah. So unfortunately, with all of these things that have happened, with cuts to NOAA, with cuts to the National Weather Service, even with those withstanding, the National Weather Service did put out a warning. It did not get to as many people as it probably should have because the amount of staffing and their abilities have been severely hampered due to executive orders. Along with that, I've seen quite a few articles that discussed how, I believe at 4:22 a.m., a firefighter noticed the river rising quite a bit up.
So he
called in and he
But that was at like a different
No, he was
or something?
No, he's just up the stream from where the river started to rise initially. And they said that he called in and asked had there been a code red issued and said that there should be one issued because the water was rising rapidly.
Wow.
More than an hour and something later, the local authorities still had not put out a code red thing. And that, no, I'm not. And that's according to CBS News. So you all can look it up. So it did not go out even by 5 something in the morning. And that was as they were actively rescuing people from different parts. And they were saying that some of those alerts did not get to people until after 10 a.m.
Oh my God.
In some cases.
Too late.
A lifetime.
With all of that being said, FEMA efforts it's not that FEMA wasn't prepared, it's that FEMA is used to doing this work, but they cannot be deployed unless the president signs off or like a governor request or things like that. But usually, even if a governor request until the president signs off. With all the new executive orders that have happened, with even the funding that was that was allocated previously to FEMA from our last fiscal year, which does not expire until the 30th of this September. Mm-hmm. With those executive orders, they have actually pulled back the already approved funding. So now, if FEMA wishes to access the funds that were already allocated to them, they have to now write a memo and explain why they need these funds. And that was no more clear than what happened in Texas, because ordinarily they communicate with other departments. They're able to have crews in the area at least a day or two before to be ready. In this case, they could not deploy anything because once they put the new Homeland Security Secretary, Kristi Noem, in, they added a new rule that said that anything over $100,000, this includes grants, this includes contracts, so anything responding to natural disaster, there's a policy that has been in place that requires her personal approval. From my understanding, once the initial disaster happened and FEMA realized that they had these issues in place, and that's not $100 to individuals. That means like $100 even to states for like structural damage, highways, riverbeds,
those roadways
were everything
swept away.
So, and obviously all of those things clearly cost more than $100,000.
Of course.
But there were people that were trying to see like if they could approve things maybe that were under that amount to at least start getting some emergency funding going.
That's a mess.
It was very difficult. I don't know if they were able to get any of those things done, but I do know that it took more than 72 hours for Kristi Noem to go ahead and approve it. And so that was literally from Friday until Monday, 72 hours of not having emergency rescue staff.
That's not even cleanup.
We're
talking about rescue. Saving lives.
Correct. And currently, because FEMA was held up so much, even though we are at this current time that we're recording, we're pretty much a week out from when that disaster happened. And because FEMA got deployed so late and the approval got so late, they're still in a rescue portion where they're not even in a recovery state. So that's a lot to also consider about all of these funds, and a lot of these cuts of funding happen through executive orders.
So you're right. Or Charlie Kirk is right, at least, because the people have lost their lives in Texas because of DEI, because of didn't earn it administrative officials.
I love
that are in positions way over their head.
I was gonna say
unqualified. What the fuck
like
does
Charlie
being
Kirk giving advice,
the governor of South Dakota, why does that qualify you to make funding decisions for natural disasters in Texas? Because Texas likes don't mess with Texas. They've got their own shit going on. They've got their own electricity grid. They do their own shit until they need federal support. And at this point, they need federal support. And who is at the ready to make sure that they have all of the funds available to help them in a natural disaster, which, mind you, was not even a hurricane. This was just a bad storm. we haven't even had a category.
We haven't even gotten through hurricane season yet.
Hurricane season. Florida, Texas, Louisiana, all run by Republicans. Alabama, all run by Republicans. Not only run by Republicans, their governor is Republican. Their state legislator is Republican. Their state, their AGs are Republican. So
that's why I feel like I can't.
All of that, we're not even there yet. We're not even in FEMA hype season.
Correct.
This is what we're dealing with. We're talking about a bad storm and a area of Texas where they know that the infrastructure could not withstand heavy rainfall.
Also, not just that. It's a highly known flood area that is very high risk.
That's what I was just saying.
But I'm saying it regularly happens. So it's not even knowing that your infrastructure isn't there to support it if something like this happens.
But they knew emergencies were possible. That's why they allocated the funds to an emergency system that they never put in.
That's exactly it. Is it normal for Homeland Security to have a say-so in these sort of disasters?
Yeah. I mean, FEMA's under Homeland Security.
Okay. Yeah. So that's the reason why she has any kind of say in anything,
but I know that all of
that's just an inconvenient attribute of her job. She wasn't interested in disaster response. She just wanted to.
She wanted a cabinet secretary.
Alligator Auschwitz.
I mean, the thing is that
Alcatraz.
And now she got to deal with FEMA,
which is so disgusting. Okay. When she was on the Hill. And they were asking her questions about this, and she literally said that FEMA isn't responsible, like the federal government isn't responsible for responding to these things. These are for states.
That's a lie.
And the problem is that she doesn't understand that FEMA deals with federal.
It's called the federal emergency.
Like we are just in the era of I'm gonna say any fucking thing.
Yeah.
Like I can say anything.
I mean.
This shit makes
it works for Trump.
It's been working for
me.
So now we're all doing it.
I'm cute now that I got my
plastic surgery and a new face and a new
Have
weave.
y'all seen her before she got...
Please Google her before picture.
I'm not one to...
I am.
To opine on others' appearance, but...
Yeah, I'm usually not, but when it comes to the GOP, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, tell somebody else. I'll tell you what I think. So, after all that being said, we're most... In most past administrations where there's a natural disaster or something where hundreds of people have died or are missing, because at this point, the numbers are looking upwards because if you're still missing now, after a week after something has happened, more than likely you're presumed dead. We're not looking at 120-something people. We're really looking at more like 300 people that have passed.
Agreed.
And for the current president to be so nonchalant as to not know what's happening, he's finally going to go visit them more than a week after pretty much 300 people presumed to be either lost or dead.
At a week?
Yeah, also...
Because, where was he last week?
Golfing. I'm sorry, when he's not golfing. He's taking pictures at our concentration camps that he's built. I'm sorry, not ours.
And making jokes about people escaping and being eaten by alligators.
It's so disgusting.
He's a sociopath.
Well, no, it's so racist.
So, Alligator Alcatraz is a new detention facility. I mean, you can call it what it is. It's a concentration camp in the Everglades of Florida, next to an airstrip in alligator and python-infested waters. Constructed within a matter of days. I think it was like 7 days.
8 days.
8 days total. With makeshift tents. They have the little jail-like beds or whatever.
And fences.
Fences. They're in cages within the
inhumane conditions.
Inhumane conditions, which actually recently flooded.
Several times.
And they built this camp with the intention of housing.
It's like 5,000. It can hold... They say 5,000
They've expanded on
people,
it in
but
days.
They've expanded it?
Yeah, it's bigger. It's bigger than it was when they first showed it. The most recent pictures of a flyover showed it has been expanded. Outside of that, like I said, it was a private airstrip base, and they've constructed it one there. But
so
now they're using it to be able to send people off much quicker.
And we're now getting reports out of there about just how inhumane the conditions are.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's been from the people that they've been able to get accounts from, even at different facilities that they're detaining people. It seems to be similar things. Maggot-infested food, if there's any food, no bathrooms, no access to lawyers, no access to a lot of just basic human rights.
Yeah, so you can't fall asleep, which is a form of psychological care.
And the worst part about the one in Florida, where they keep the lights on for 24 hours, is that, as we all know, if you've ever been outside in the summertime in a humid place, mosquitoes and insects are attracted to light, especially in the evening. So people are now suffering, having to deal with that.
And these are tents, not structure.
They're tents. Florida has had such bad issues before with mosquitoes and the diseases that they carry that they've actually canceled trick-or-treating in Miami and things like that before, or areas that are closer to the Everglades.
But all of that is by design because they have dehumanized our immigrant residents or community.
Well, first of all, when you start not referencing the people as people and start calling them aliens and things like that.
Or illegals. Illegal is a
description.
What is it called? Adjective?
That's an adjective. That's an adjective.
And the adjectives are descriptors.
Yeah, that's an adjective. Correct. And when asked about it, jokingly but very proudly said that by design, it's made to discourage them from trying to escape. And if they escape, they will be eaten by alligators.
Also, what kind of disturbs me is that what I've heard, the building, the funding for getting the contractors for the tents and things like that, it's my understanding that none of that came from federal funding. It came, not that the federal government paid directly to have this done. From my understanding, from the articles that I saw, it was actually taken from FEMA funding that was given to Florida.
I read that too.
That wasn't distributed to people.
For hurricane cleanup or for hurricane and this was restructuring.
This was literally where those stolen funds were taken and being used.
So that's the part. I'm like, are y'all clocking that they're stealing money from you to build concentration
camps? First of all, they've been stealing money from everybody. That's why they had Doge and all that run through, but break it fast. And then you'll figure out the pieces later.
There were some state lawmakers that tried to visit the facility, much like what happened in New Jersey when Representative McIver was detained and now prosecuted for trying to do her damn job. People just out here trying to do their job on behalf of their constituents, and they were denied access to. And the people who are running this alligator facility are still saying that there are no inhumane conditions. Everything is running as swimmingly as possible. No pun intended.
They did. They had a pun intended. They was it's forced literally.
They
said everything's
fine. They said everything is fine, and they denied access to some Florida state lawmakers who have the authority.
It's their authority.
It is their job.
The irony is that they don't let the lawmakers come do their job to conduct their oversight, but had food trucks, some of which were even Latin themed,
like actual food trucks, not just like a truck delivering food, like a wagon, food,
like a branded food truck,
like that you would have at like a festival. Like this is just like it is. It would be.
Oh, and did we talk about the work requirement?
So they literally have people working to get like $1 a day so they can get a $5 phone call at the end of the week. They don't have any access to anything, can't really get in touch with lawyers, can't really get in touch with family. All of this is happening while they're forcing people into manual labor who are already getting paid well under reasonable wages and doing jobs. So now they have them doing manual labor for $1 a day. But fret not, because there was a press conference earlier this week where one of the cabinet members was saying
Brooke Rollins,
that she was like, "Oh, don't worry about the Medicaid."
Brooke Rollins is the Secretary of Agriculture.
Yeah, because all the able-bodied people on Medicaid, to 43,000 or 43 million, I think she said, or something like that. She was like, "Well, we have blah 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 people on Medicaid. They can go work in the fields." Pretty much, I'm paraphrasing of the fields, but she literally said, "We have X amount of people on Medicaid. They can absorb those positions."
Which is it's a damn lie.
I mean, I'm just trying to figure out, is it the kids? I know that now kids over 8 aren't considered kids to get food for. So is it them? Because quite a few of these places have been caught doing child labor, and then even the whole state of Florida tried to get it passed. I just don't understand the
this is literally, this was America pre-
Gilded Age. This is
Gilded Age. Yes,
correct. Said he wanted to go back to the Gilded Age.
This is what
this is
America great again.
This is great again.
Well, you know what? If there's any silver lining to that, is that if it goes as badly as they're planning for it to go, history usually repeats itself.
Mm-hmm.
And there'll be a whole thing of maybe a whole new deal that'll make it even better than the FDR's original new bill.
Well, this time maybe they'll consider minorities and colored people.
We learned our lessons from tariffs then, but how soon we forgot. Because that's what got us into trouble in the first place.
Or how soon we don't read a book. So, speaking of the Trump administration and all of their pitfalls, lies, unqualified personnel.
The biggest scam.
Pam Bondi, the attorney general, not the attorney general, the head of the.
Isn't she not the attorney general?
Oh, she is the attorney general.
But the irony,
the attorney general is the head of the Department of Justice, and justice shall be served
unless it's by Pam Bondi, who was also serving in Florida when when Epstein got hemmed up the first time. Who let him out on bail? Thank you, Pam Bondi. She also let Trump off of a couple charges. Pam Bondi is truly
So are you trying to say that the Attorney General, Pam Bondi, is some way compromised in her position in the Jeffrey Epstein sexual
she's about
child trafficking trial?
Because,
they just put out a memo that said there was no client list of Jeffrey Epstein, except for the fact that she said it was on her desk.
Well, what about the 200 people that they said was in Ghislaine Maxwell's black book of, or 2,000 plus people that were in Ghislaine Maxwell's black book of like the different people that had been, and not to mention the actual young girls who testified, including I think one who was like 13 at the time or something very young, who testified about not just Epstein, but our current Orange in Chief being a person that violated her.
We don't have the client list. So the only person that
the clients have spoken.
Department of Justice can prosecute is the woman who is quote unquote behind all of the it's like, so why is Ghislaine Maxwell in jail for helping to traffic no one to nobody?
Make it make sense.
It does not make sense.
It's the same reason why I think even this week, I think I can't remember the outlet, but they actually spoke with Epstein's brother, Mark Epstein, who said that he had actually been in contact with his brother, and none of this makes any sense because one, Ghislaine wouldn't be in prison. But what he really said, like the parts that I took away from what he said, was that this is all very fishy. And my brother he said my brother was arrested and sitting in jail. Mm-hmm. Also, he wasn't suicidal. He said he was actually, enthusiastic about his chances of getting bail and had plans for afterward.
Because he was about to throw everybody under the bus.
And I think that's why there's also that time lapse missing.
Yes. What happened?
As the things that weren't pointed toward.
All right, maybe we should backtrack a little bit.
Yeah, back it up.
Because
back it up like you haul truck.
On June 6th.
Like what?
Like you haul truck. That would be one of those moments where my husband tells me to go to my mama's house because I just did something. Every time I go to the corner, he'd be like, call your mama.
All right. So the Department of Justice released a memo basically saying that they have no evidence that the convicted sex offender and disgraced financier.
What about the binders?
Jeffrey Epstein. We'll get to the binders in a second because there was
a whole photo op for the binders.
That was just embarrassing. But okay, so Jeffrey Epstein did not have a client list, and he also committed suicide while he was in his cell. So that was what the memo said in a nutshell. So this is the first time that the Trump administration has taken the position that there's no criminality on behalf of Epstein, who was reported to have committed suicide in his jail cell, 2 years ago while he was in jail. His co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell, has since been sentenced to 20 years
and is serving them
as a co-conspirator, but you cannot co-conspire with nothing
without a conspirator. You can't
so
code
to
without the
say that Jeffrey Epstein is not is you can disgrace him all you want. And what's the saying? A dead man tells no tales. So as I think you alluded to it, Jasmine, about the fact that there is a video now that was released by the Department of Justice, a video to prove that he was not murdered or that someone did not, kill him in his cell.
The video is missing.
It is missing a whole minute
of video.
It is missing an entire minute because not only can Trump supporters apparently not read, they can't tell time.
Well, they started with Jeffrey Epstein years ago, and that's why it's so weird to be switching this course like
because
this.
They thought that it would only implicate the Clintons.
Because that was the thing, but then they realized that Trump and him were BFFs. There are so many pictures and so many things together.
But those pictures, those are AI, even though they're from the 90s.
When we didn't have AI.
Well, I know
and
that
you didn't actually see them.
Well, from what I
made it
read,
up in your mind.
Pictures
That
on pictures.
picture is real.
He can tell his base anything at this point, and I feel like
and that's the thing.
And it's
but
really
I think this is another thing is like first it was the Iran, like we're not going to war against Iran, that would be stupid. Like
I'm still
MAGA,
trying to, I don't even.
No, I don't want to talk about that. But
the other thing
that was a riff.
But to openly, and this is what I don't understand, for a president to be like, hey. You know what?
I love a hey.
They're like, hey, you know what? Hey. We did this, but we knew they was probably going to retaliate and probably on one of our bases. That seems like treason. If you would talk to a foreign government and coordinate about attacks on a military base of the country in which you are the president of. That just seems odd. Maybe I missed a sentence or something in it,
it's
but it
just
treason.
Is it also treason to lie?
I mean, it's treason
blatantly to the American people.
I mean, insurrection was treason. Also, let's not all act like we haven't heard the clips and shit of like, if it wasn't for Elon and his great computer geniuses, I would have never won this election.
When all them damn swing states was coming back red, I said something ain't right in the water.
Well, speaking of Elon.
Speaking of him and
because Elon already told us in our in the
Elon
sense
is the
sense X. Is that what we call tweets now? Just X's?
Well, now I'm wondering because
it's an X act.
What are we? I mean, today, like the most recent thing I seen today was that apparently funding to NASA and things like that have been stripped. So I'm just curious where this meltdown is going to go after this, considering SpaceX has a lot of contracts with NASA. Mm-hmm. I know it's going to go to hell in a handbasket, but I'm excited. I got my popcorn ready to pop.
Well, yeah, because Elon has already told us about the Epstein fund.
Well, most recently.
Well, that's why.
Like, he brought it. The thing is that people not lying when they just bring up shit and nobody asked them about it.
That's exactly it.
Because he was literally like the equivalent of a drunk text.
Right. The equivalent.
It was like a high.
He was like,
that's why I'm waiting. I'm just waiting
high
for
on
one bad trip for him to just.
I'm just trying to figure this out though. They had like 3 to 4 inch binders. Those weren't even the 1 inch.
Like,
they weren't even a half inch. That was like a 4 inch.
That has to be the most embarrassing part.
And that was part one.
It had a cover on the front of it. You know how you had the binders that got the little slip cover? You could print out a little thing.
Oh, I know, because I made one for
It said the Epstein list.
But just remember, that was part
had like
one.
10 content creators.
But that was part one. What I'm saying is that 4 inch, 3 inch binder was part one. There was a part two or somebody's desk. They didn't even say it was going to stop at 2. Who knows how many parts that we could have had in this series.
But the thing is that I don't think MAGA is all the way on board with that, because you already see them coming out and like, well, that sounds like bullshit. We've talked about this thing over and over and over again. You've pretty much lied. And that's the thing. It's like chickens coming home to roost or whatever. A lie will always come back. It's like you continuously lie. And that's the other thing. They don't check their word. You don't follow up on the shit. You can't just lie for years and say one thing. I don't know this man. First of all, it turns out Epstein and Trump were best friends up until maybe there was some falling out. It was probably about money. It definitely wasn't about moral values. Correct. So, like, yes, maybe there was a falling out.
Maybe it was about some teenager that they had.
Exactly. Hopefully we'll get some more details.
We just need
because Elon, at this point, the only person who I trust is Elon, and that is saying a whole lot.
I mean, he is just a woman scorned, and I am just waiting.
Do that. Not a woman scorned.
Well, no, as they say,
he's a bro scorned.
He is a bro scorned.
They're worse.
I agree.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous.
So, yeah. So, Elon, the South African, is starting a new party called the American Party that is...
I'm not even going to give that anything.
I mean, third parties are not successful. Even third parties that are financed by billionaires.
He would have been more successful
looking at
this.
Ross, it's giving Ross Perot in the 90s against George Bush.
Ooh, so we'll get some more SNL skits.
Yeah. The thing is that if you, like, Ross Perot himself ran for president and he didn't get one electoral vote, but, like, everybody wants Elon money. Like, nobody wants Elon the person. I mean, it must suck to suck, but nobody wants you as an individual. If he puts his billions behind somebody who is not Trump, if he can find someone that the public supports. So there is a possibility that he could be starting something that does cut into the MAGA base, especially
I would love it.
Like given all of the like the
I hope you can be all you be like the army. Do all that you can.
Spend all your money. Spend all your time.
Yeah, do it.
They'll probably deport you. You can wire it over here to fund. It's like, we'll see what happens with the America Party. But it just, it does nothing for us right now. It's like, thank you for ruining everyone's lives with not only your billions of dollars or millions, whatever you gave to the campaign, but the fact that you rigged several of the machines or assisted in you were a co-conspirator.
And that's why
you and your little minion 5-year-old gave you away.
I don't even know if I don't even wish that on the South African people. Like,
oh hell no.
Yeah, it's like, I don't.
As a matter of fact, I love South Africa so much. When I went to visit, when I was like, I wish he would go back, and I was like, not to South Africa, because they don't need them kind of problems. They don't need him.
Let him. He can go to Alligator House.
I think that's an appropriate place.
Yeah.
So with that being said, we have a third party potentially entering the electoral races that are coming up in 2026.
I'm not mad at having an option of another party, but please not him. I mean,
yes, not him. So midterms are coming up in 2026, and a lot of people, by that time, that's in a little over a year from now, people might have forgotten about this big, horrible bill that just passed, about all of the lies, shall we say, that are coming from the administration, all of the devastation that's happening across the country with natural disasters and just all types of injustice happening.
Countrywide disasters.
So there are things that we can do, not only next year, yes, in the midterms, but this year in 2025. A lot of local municipal elections are happening for mayor, county council, district council, village council, whatever they call it.
All very important.
All very important races, because those positions really determine and make the decisions about what happens on the more micro level.
We can have her on the podcast.
That would be amazing. She's more than welcome.
My running for my district.
Also, there are a couple of states, New Jersey and Virginia, that have governor races this year and state legislative races this year. But next year, in 2026, first of all 435 members of the House of Representatives are up for election. They serve 2-year terms. Midterm elections
vote them out.
Are coming out. If they voted for this big stupid bill.
Vote them out.
They need to be held accountable, and they should lose their seats, because nothing in this bill gives anything beneficial to the mass constituents outside of the top 1% of the wealthiest individuals. So all 430 members of the House of Representatives are up for re-election in 2026. 35 senators are also up for re-election. Senators serve in 6-year terms, and it just so happens that 22 of those 35 senators are Republican, and Democrats only need to pick up 4 of those 22 seats to have control of the Senate. And at least that would create a check on the House.
Let's help them pick up
the
10,
presidency.
20. Let's help them pick them up.
Yeah, let's just flip both houses. It's possible.
Flip them all, like pancakes.
Traditionally, in midterm elections, midterms have not been friendly for the incumbent party, being the party that won previous general election. So the party that the presidency holds, so the Republican Party in this case. In 2022, that was not the case, because Democrats did a lot better than they were expected to do, considering that Democrats won the presidency and I think both houses of Congress in 2020.
We need
there was
waves,
no red wave in 2022, but there could be a blue wave in. We
need blue waves, and we need blue backbones.
Yes, blue spines.
To stand up for the things that
in terms of the states, there are 36 governor seats up for election, so in 36 states, and then 88 state legislative chambers out of 99. There are 99 legislative chambers, and 88 of them
I want people to pay attention
are up for election in 2026. Please? And that is in 46 of the states. So
all except before.
All before
Pay
states.
attention.
And those 4, because Virginia and I think also New Jersey, their state legislative races are in 2025. So if you're in Virginia, there are state races now. We see them on our TV all the time.
Also, if you know anybody who lives in Virginia, call them and let them know to get active, because even though we may not live in certain states individually, it doesn't mean
know people.
Even that, it doesn't mean that the people that they vote in do not also have an effect on where we live and the things that we're able to achieve as a country. So overall, it does make sense that we need to care about what's happening to other people in other places.
Work together.
As well as
good or evil. So
it's called democracy.
Right.
We don't all live in a bubble, whether we're in separate states or cities or municipalities or in different countries.
Right.
Nobody's in a bubble. We all share the same world. So we might want to all try to get on the same accord so that way we're able to flourish.
That would take caring for people outside of your peripheral.
And that's the point.
And I don't think that they have the ability.
I think at a certain point we were looking toward it. Like people were starting to. And at different points in history, there were points where people actually started embracing other people's thoughts, cares, what would affect them. And then every now and then you get, I don't know if it's sometimes it's an immediate backlash, or sometimes it's year later.
White lash.
Yeah, when people don't realize that it's working for them. They're like,
it's like, where's the money in my pocket? Okay.
It's so selfish. What I have learned is that most societies that make it longer and further aren't individualistic societies. Yeah. Most of them are community-based societies. So it is something to think about, because you can actually get a lot further working together with people as you can by going by yourself. You may be able to make it to the next step really quickly because you don't have to consider other people's thoughts, ideas, or opinions. So, you can move quicker by yourself and not having to worry about other people's weight. But if you want to go further, collectivity is kind of what moves things a lot further.
Couldn't agree.
Another thing to keep up with might be that it's not just up to the responsibilities of others. There are social contracts that exist.
Yes.
And part of it is doing what you need to do and also being aware of things you need to be aware of and not being in an individualistic society. Because the same people
that's why community
who
is
do
so
it on a very even the person during the pandemic who was like, well, toilet paper about to be scarce. I'm going to buy up all of it and sell it for 25 times the price. That's a very individualistic
And that's why Costco was like, no, you can have one.
But that's what I'm saying. That's a very individualistic mindset as opposed to maybe a group of people who lived in a community who got together and said, hey, you know what?
Yeah.
I got X amount of resources. You got X amount of resources. We can buy X amount of things. Let's put it together. I can get these things from this place. I can get these things from this place. And then you can kind of go further, longer without somebody trying to hoard one thing in order to make money off of people. I just think that.
Well, that's why we're saying now, especially community is so important in this moment because we obviously do not have the buy-in and the support from the institutions that we thought were supposed to be facilitating a prosperous community. Now we have to lean on ourselves. That's always been the case for the Black community. It's always been the case for the indigenous community.
Marginalized communities have all had to lean on each other. And that's why I hate to see people talk negatively about other marginalized communities. A lot of those anti-immigrant things are very much so rooted in anti-Blackness and white supremacy.
Yeah, they are. So the most impactful thing that we can do right now is stay vigilant, hold our leaders accountable, and if you don't agree with what they're doing, vote against the incumbents. We saw it happen in New York. The power of the people is strong.
That's
Democracy
right, Mom Donnie.
is still intact, and there is a silver.
There's hope. And don't give it up. And also, I mean, it might seem very dark because we are headed down the road to fascism in a handbasket with gasoline draws on fire. But I will say that if there's
North Carolina right now,
if it's nothing that we have learned is that the people
with gasoline,
it's that the very small group of people that are very right wing, including all the people that have made all these changes in like school districts and book bannings and kids in sports, which is a whole nother story for another day, who are causing all these changes and are getting other people on their side. So let's just remember that we can make that same change by just being vocal about what we want. Because the extremists are very vocal about what they want, especially on the right wing. It doesn't really happen so much on the left wing. So, yeah, let's just pay attention and
stay vigilant. And pour up because we're going to need a drink for this.
Or get you some water because you're going to need some hydration for this with all this shit going on. All this drinking you're going to need.
Since the political board, because we're going to need a drink for this.